Welcome to the Build Your Life Coaching Biz podcast, where you get to learn how to become a professional life coach and start an online coaching business from scratch. I'm your host, Krista Kathleen, a professional certified coach and spiritual business mentor. In 2016, I got divorced and left my full-time job as a registered nurse and decided to bravely answer my calling of becoming a life coach so I could help to change lives as I traveled around the world. And now I want to help you discover your purpose too. Having the freedom and flexibility to be your own boss and make as much money as you want right from your laptop will be one of the best gifts you ever give to yourself, your family, and the world. In these episodes, I'll give you real coaching combined with proven strategies and spiritual practices in order to help build your dream coaching business that feels perfect for you. Hello. Good morning, my coaching friends. I'm so excited to spend some time with you today in this episode. And before we jump into the content, I want to just do a quick celebration with all of you. Yesterday, we had 2 new students sign up for the Born to Coach Training Academy Spring April class. So that's so exciting. We only have 4 spots left at this moment. And I'm just really leaning into practicing and celebrating each woman or man that signs up. And my brain always wants to go to, okay, well, we have this many spots left, so how are we going to make that happen? And then I just start to put all this pressure on myself and just take all the fun out of it. So I'm really just soaking up this moment of feeling proud and celebrating. And another thing I want to celebrate with all of you too is how it works for the Born to Coach Training Academy is after you meet all of the requirements within the program at the end of the 7 months, and then you finish off paying your payment plan for your coach training tuition, then you get your certificate. And then what you do is you upload that certificate over to the ICF website. And then as long as you have your coaching hours met, so 100 coaching hours for ACC credential, 500 coaching hours for PCC credential, with our Born to Coach Training Academy, you can go for either credential. Again, it just depends on how many coaching hours you have. But then after that, you upload your certificate from us over on the ICF website when applying for your credential. And so we just had a student who graduated from the first Born to Coach Training Academy class. She made her last payment for her tuition this morning. So I just got to email her certificate to her in her inbox. And again, just feels like another huge win and something to celebrate. It really is such a big part of my life mission to just put more certified coaches out into the world and helping coaches to earn their ICF credentials and just really raising the bar in the coaching industry and giving coaches the proper tools and education to be successful in this industry. So I'm feeling good right now. I'm riding on cloud 9. Okay, those are my wins. And always feel free to share your wins with me as well on Instagram, or I think you can do voice notes on this podcast platform. I don't know, but I love to hear wins and celebrations for coaches. So always feel free to share those with me. All right, so today I want to talk with you all about how to have fewer no-shows for your sales calls. So before we dive into that, there is one thing I need to back up and say first that I want to share with all of you so you can apply this and use this in your own coaching business as well. So what I was doing for the Born to Coach Training Academy was that I had this very selective process going on to where people would have to sign up for a wait list. And then once I would open the wait list, I would send out a pretty lengthy application form. And then once someone filled out the application form, then I would get on a coach training consult with them. And then from there, if things were good on my end and things were good on their end, then I would accept them an offer into the academy. And it worked okay for the first 2 rounds of the Born to Coach Training Academy. But what was happening was I had like 80 people on the wait list. And then when I would make an announcement like, okay, we're going to finally, open up enrollment, hardly anybody was applying. And I was like, this is like, these numbers are not making sense to me. There's a gap here. Something is wrong. And I think like for the last class, out of like the 80 people I had on the wait list, I think 3 out of those 83 people ended up applying and joining the academy. And again, I was just like, you know what? There's something off about those numbers to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like what I did was working, but it wasn't working in a way that felt good for me. So I did a business strategy session with one of my coaches that I work with, and we figured out the problem is that when people sign up for a wait list, they get really excited and they're like, I'm ready to take action. They're in that energy. And then having to sit on a wait list for months, it really just, people lose steam and they lose motivation. And then by that time, they could have gone elsewhere to a different program, or they're just like, I'm not interested in becoming a coach anymore. So I think the way I had it set up is really good if I have larger numbers in my audience and for people wanting to get in and I need, if I would need to practice being like way more selective, but for like where I'm at in my business right now, just that process didn't make sense. So what I ended up changing was that I took out the wait list, I took out the application form, and I have it where people can go right to booking a coach training consult, because I was noticing that when people get to spend at least 30 minutes with me on a Zoom call, and they get to see my face and hear my voice and feel my energy and get to have all their questions answered, and sometimes we do a little coaching on the consult as well. After that, right, the trust, the relationship is built up, and then they're much more likely to be ready to move forward with signing up for the academy. So I've learned that it's really important for me to get on Zoom calls with as many people as possible, and not put that step a couple steps down the road in the application process. And I'm sharing this with you because I obviously I train a lot of new coaches, and I see a lot of new coaches are hesitant to get on the phone with a lot of people. But I'm going to tell you, and whether it results in a sale or not, getting on the phone, or when I say getting on the phone, I recommend doing a Zoom call. But like getting on the phone with people is the best way to get practice. Right? Like, just so you all know, sales is a practice. It's a skill set that requires lots and lots and lots of practice to get good at it. So I don't want to hear any of you being like, I'm not good at sales, I'm not good at making money, because those are all just beliefs. Those are all just thoughts. And just like anything in this world that you want to get better at, you have to practice. So the more you get on calls with people and you practice asking questions and being with objections and understanding where the objections are coming from, and you're going to get that much more confident. You're going to get that much more better at signing on new paying clients. And we teach all this in the Born to Coach Training Academy as well. We're in semester 2 right now for the fall class, and on our Saturday coaching skills labs, we do role playing. with sales calls. So that way the coaches can get comfortable saying the details of their package out loud, saying their price of their package out loud, and practicing. And you use a lot of coaching skills as well on your sales calls too. I always say that coaches make the best salespeople in this world, right? Because we know how to do active listening, we know how to do powerful questioning and summarizing and all those things. So getting on as many sales calls is really, really good to build the trust, to get the relationship started. And then it's also like little mini market research calls as well. Like, so for me, anytime I get on a coach training consult, I'm taking notes. I'm taking lots of notes, but not to the point where it's taking away from the conversation and distracting me, but I'm taking notes on what the person is saying in front of me, of like what they're currently struggling with, what they've already tried, what it is that they desire to have in their coaching business. And then within those notes, I can use that copy for my social media posts. I can use it for my websites. I can use it to build out my programs and just really understand what are the desires, what are the pain points of my unique niche. So the more time you can spend with your customers / clients, the more you're going to just understand and get to know them better and know how to tailor content and programs that are going to meet their needs. So please, 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 after listening to this episode, let yourself get on as many sales calls as you can, and do more than what you think you need. Like, getting on one sales call a month is not going to sell out your coaching spots. I probably should have calculated out how many sales calls I've gone on over the past month. I think it's been at least 30. It's crazy. Like, I'm just doing like sales calls out of the wazoo right now. But just so you know, like, everybody that gets on a call with you is not going to end up signing up, or they're not going to end up signing up right away to work with you. So you have to go into this being like, and you'll start to learn like what your conversion rates are. So, and I think I talked about this in another podcast episode of like, maybe you need to get on the phone with 10 people, and that usually out of 10 people, like 2 of those people are going to convert into clients. So then that moving forward. And so when you open up another spot to work with you, you're like, okay, I know I need to schedule at least like 5 to 7 sales calls this month if I want to sell out this coaching spot. So, okay, I feel like we're getting a little bit off track here with the topic. How did that happen? Hashtag ADHD brain. Okay, that's just, some free bonus training for you all right now. So let's go back to how to have fewer no-shows for your sales calls. So I think it was like the end of February. No, not the end of February, the end of January. And I had 9 coach training consults scheduled for that week. And out of the 9 that I had, 7 of them were no-shows. So I had 9 consults scheduled in 3 days, and 7 of them were no-shows. And I was like, WTF, this is not cool. I don't like this. Like, right? Because all of these people are like basically like taking out time from my schedule when I could be doing other things. I could be going to the gym. I could be spending time with my family. So it just really sucked and it didn't feel good. And instead of like making myself a failure for it, I was like, okay, I'm going to get curious here and figure out, obviously there's something that I'm doing that's not working. And, you guys are going to find that out when you're an entrepreneur. Like, you constantly have to be curious and be like a scientist and be like, okay, you can't just like jump ship every time something doesn't work. You just have to get curious and find out what are the parts that are working and what are the parts that aren't working. So obviously there was something that was not working in that situation. So what was happening at that time was I didn't have like a form for people to fill out before they were getting on the coach training consult with me. I was afraid that if I put a form to it, that people weren't going to take the time to fill out the form. And I really wanted to get on the phone with as many people as possible. So I didn't, and just so you all know, I use Acuity for my scheduling system. I really, really like them. I wish unfortunately, they took out their affiliate and referral program away. So otherwise I would totally give you guys my affiliate link, but they don't have that anymore, unfortunately. So I didn't have a form for people to fill out. I had slots open for the entire month. So like people would find me on YouTube, book a coach training consult, and then their appointment wouldn't be until like 2 to 3 weeks from now. And again, it was kind of like what I was talking about earlier, is like when people take action, they're in that energy and that momentum of like, okay, I'm ready to do this now. And if they just sit, if their consult is like 2 to 3 weeks from now, then they're going to lose steam. They're going to lose momentum. And, they might end up going elsewhere, or they might be like, I don't know if I really want this anymore. So that was not good that I had slots open for an entire month like that. And I didn't have any language to help support people like taking the call seriously and really committing and showing up. And again, remember, everything like that you do in your business, like people are going to follow your lead and your energy. So if, you have to think about too, are you taking your discovery calls and your consults seriously? Are you just kind of like, it's cool. It's cool if people show up or not. I don't care. And I think that was kind of the energy I was putting off around this. So I did a venting post on Facebook. I like hardly post on Facebook anymore, but I was like, I'm so annoyed with this. I'm going to vent. And then there was a sales coach on there that directed me to a post that she had done that was teaching how to have fewer no-shows for your sales calls. So I'm not going to take credit for all these things that I'm telling you. Her name was Emily Utter. And so the changes that I ended up making was I attached a form for people to fill out when booking a coach training consult, and I called it my coach training consult intake form. And I'll literally read to you what I have on my form. And I would recommend, if all of you create a form that for people to fill out before they get on a sales call with you, don't put like a shit ton of questions, because that's going to be intimidating and people aren't going to want to sit down and fill all that out. So I would recommend like maybe 3 questions tops. I also don't make my questions required. So that way, if someone like is in a pinch and they just want to book really fast, that they don't have to fill out the questions. But I do find out that having the questions there, most of the time people fill them out. And then when people fill them out, they just show up so much differently to a call. I think because it requires them to do a little bit of homework, to do a little bit of like premeditation and focus on, this is what I want to get from this call, or this is what I need from this call. So this is what my form says. So I have a little description at the top, and it says, "Hi, Coach. Thank you again for taking the time to schedule a coach training consult with the Born to Coach Training Academy. We are here to answer all your coach training questions and help you to figure out what is the best next step to take on your journey towards becoming a professional coach this year. Please fill out this form so we can best prepare for your consult. XO, Krista plus the Build Your Life Coaching Biz team." And then my first question is, how did you hear about the Born to Coach Training Academy? So I always like to put that question in case like someone came from a referral, and then I do a really nice referral bonus as well. So that's really helpful for that. And then I say, tell me what you're most excited to chat about today. Next question is, by this time next year, what would you like your life and coaching biz to look like? And then what do you think becomes possible for you if accepted in the Born to Coach Training Academy? So I have those 4 questions. And then this isn't really a question, but this is like just the commitment statement. And I got this, I I saw this from another coach. I don't remember who it was, but I just tailored it to my energy and my program. But it said, we will be saving this spot on our calendar for you. Please put your initials in the box below to acknowledge that you'll commit to attending the call on the Zoom link provided. If you need to reschedule, you can do so 24 hours out from your consult time. So then what the person does is they type their initials in there. So that's been really helpful. And then I also like, just seeing the answers and knowing a little bit of information about the person before they show up to the call. I don't like to just show up to a sales call and know nothing about them. And I also changed my availability as well. So now people can only book a consult a week out at a time. So that way they're not just like sitting for weeks and weeks waiting for their consult. So that's been really helpful. And like I said, I just changed my language on my form and my schedule, everything that I scheduling just to help people commit and take this more seriously. And then another piece of advice that I got, hold on, let me go to my scheduling link so I can read it. Another piece of advice that I got from my coach is to, while people are waiting, like give them something to do. Again, right? People are in this energy of after they schedule with you, they want to take action in some way. They want to do research. They want to watch something. They want to read more information. So in the confirmation email, this is what my thing says. Hi, coach. Thanks for booking your coach training consult for the Born to Coach Training Academy. You're well on your way to becoming a certified coach and being able to earn a living by helping others. While you're waiting for your consult, we highly recommend checking out these coaching resources below so you can learn more about becoming a professional coach. And then I have 4 different things that they can do. So I say, one is read the welcome packet that includes the details of our Born to Coach Training Academy. Watch our training videos on YouTube. Listen to our coaching podcast, which is what you guys are doing right now. And buy Krista's book, Beyond the White Picket Fence, Breaking Out of the Life That Others Expect You to Live. XO Krista and the Born to Coach Training Academy team. And I said, P.S. if you can't make your appointment time, be sure to pick a new time using the reschedule link below before they're all gone. So that was also something that I changed recently too, is like giving people something to do while they're waiting to talk to you. So you guys might not have a YouTube channel. You may not have a podcast. You probably haven't written a book yet, which is okay. Only 3% of people write books apparently. But I would just think about like, what do you have right now that you could, like, what kind of information or videos, do you have a blog post where maybe you wrote about the benefits of working with a life coach? So can you share that with them? Or can you go onto Canva and create a welcome packet that teaches people more about what life coaching is and how life coaching can benefit someone? And I just think the more that you can empower someone with knowledge before they get on the call with you, then you don't really have to spend all that time explaining what coaching is and why it's so beneficial and helpful and how it's going to change their life. So again, just some more things to think about of like, how can you really set people up for success before they're getting on the phone with you? Okay. So that's all I have for you. So let me just quickly recap of how to have fewer no-shows for your sales call. Like I have a lot of nuggets and gems in this episode today, but so how to have fewer no-shows for your sales calls is make sure that you have some type of like prep form or questionnaire form before people get on a sales call with you. Only open up time slots for the girl. Emily suggested only doing it for 2 to 3 days out. I don't know, for some reason that just didn't feel comfortable for me. So I did it for a week out, but don't like let people schedule with you like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks from when they initially find you. And then create language to help people to commit and take your consults more seriously. All right, that is it. I so love and appreciate you. And thank you for taking the time to listen to my podcast. And I hope that you seriously consider joining the spring Born to Coach Training Academy class. Like I said, at this moment, we only have 4 spots left. The women that have already signed up, just so you all know, this is open to all genders, but I do attract mostly women. But the women who've already signed up are fucking amazing. I'm sure some of them are listening to this episode right now. They're just such like passionate, heart-centered humans that are ready to go out into the world and help others and change lives and share their coaching gifts with others, and just ready to take their ideas and turn it into a business and create life on your own terms. So if that's the kind of people you love being surrounded by, then you're just going to absolutely love our academy. So make sure, book a coach training consult with me after listening to this, and you can go through the whole process that I just talked about and see how I set all this up. And hopefully this helps you with setting up your own consults and discovery calls as well. Have a great rest of your day. Okay, so I totally forgot to add this in to the podcast episode the other day, and I was at the gym and I had one of those moments where I was like, oh, I totally forgot to say that. So I'm adding it right now with how to have fewer no-shows on your sales calls. Something that I've been doing recently is after someone books with me and I see the discovery call confirmation come into my inbox, their number is in there because they have to put in their number to book the call. And so I'll reach out and I'll text the person and I'll just say, hi, like this is Krista from the Born to Coach Training Academy. And I'm so excited. I saw that you booked a coach training consult, and I'm so excited to meet you, tonight, tomorrow, next week. And, sometimes the person responds, sometimes they don't. And then usually on the day of, I'll reach out and like, hey, I'm really excited to chat tonight. Do you have access to the Zoom link? And just to like let the person know that there's, even though there's automated things like that, there's a real person behind all of this. And I want them to feel that connection from me and that personal welcome right from the start. And I've noticed that when people really take the time to engage with me via text, that they're more likely to show up to the sales call as well. So I really highly recommend that anywhere in your process where you can like personalize it. Is that a word? Personalize it? That's it. Okay. Anywhere where you can personalize the process, it just makes people feel really good and warm and welcomed in. And again, trust is the number one ingredient in sales. So that was just the last thing I wanted to add. And then the other thing was just remember that everything that I taught you in the episode today, this doesn't mean that you're never going to have a no-show again. That's why the episode was called How to Have Fewer No-Shows. So just normalize that there's still going to be people who book with you and then they don't show up. And I know it sucks when it happens, but it's just a part of life. It's a part of business and sales. And for me, if I don't have someone show up, then I'll just spend like that half hour just doing behind the scenes stuff on my business, and I try not to get too upset because there's a lot of other amazing people who are willing to show up and be respectful of my time. So, all right, that's it. Thank you so much for listening. I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed at this time. And if you're ready to up-level your coaching skill set and learn how to confidently coach at the transformational PCC level in order to help your clients get bigger breakthroughs and better results, then join our Born to Coach Training Academy at buildyourlifecoachingbiz.com/certification.